welcome back to Zelda Speedruns. We are here with the ALttP 80% NMG League. We have Gem versus Yeroc, and for comms today we have Rob and Mouse. Take it away.
Yo, Rob, how's it going? Happy NMG Saturday.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's going pretty good. Yeah, we've got ourselves a good race here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, so this isn't quite like Saturday doubleheader, but it is the first of the two NMG races we have today. This one is the Desert Palace Division, week 2, featuring two very impressive runners, both Gem and Yeroc. And so Gem probably has a reputation, I would say probably more so in the rando scene. Been playing, rando for quite some time. Obviously, he's actually done a good number of NMG seasons as well. More so, he has. I believe so. He has the world record for vanilla preset, not from NMG League, which was season 4, but recently, because in this case, that was part of the reason why he is here in NMG League now for season 6 was because he got world record. There was, maybe some, nice agreement that he made with Ari, and here we are. He's running NMG. Also very nice to get a PB last week for week 1 with a 125.07. Yeroc, on the other hand, probably primarily started in NMG, and this man is a grinding machine. He, even watching him throughout the seasons for NMG League. I think we were all around, I think, for his first milestone, 130, and then he grinded down to 128, 126. He has a 124, I believe, 40 as of a month ago. Very impressive. So should be a very good race.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Corey's ground his PB down pretty quickly, and yeah, as you were saying, it's not all that long ago that we were watching him get his first sub 90 and stuff, and I raced him in week 1 of this league, but also I raced him in season 2, and I think I had the faster PB, but now he's got almost a minute on me, so
that's crazy. The amount of time in this case that he is dedicated. I mean, you definitely see him. I know that people go on factory shifts, right? Sometimes there's the 126 factory, that turns into, and then you get promoted to the 125 factory. This guy, there might have been just I don't know, just warehouses full of of merchandise at this point, because he is such a diligent worker, right? And yeah, the amount of time that he actually took in order to get his 124 or his current PB now is the time frame is very short. Certainly pretty aggressive, and also and as you improve your PB, the faster it gets, right, the harder it gets, and it's not even on a linear level, right? It's more of an exponential. So every second it just gets that much harder when you're in the 124. I don't know if Corey has aspirations to get to 123, but I mean, he's certainly, I think, capable of it. But I guess we gotta cross through the 124 hump first,
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, these two runners did both win their races in week 1, so they're going to be playing for the 2-0 here. The winner of this will have the right to face Tam for the group title next week.
Oh wow, that'll be pretty impressive. Yes. Yeah, and the fact that don't let okay, so Gem, of course he has a 125.07, and Corey has a 124.40. I mean, so certainly very close PBs. Extremely impressive PBs. The fact that they're here in the Desert Palace Division, I think, just kind of is a testament to how good everyone is at this game. There's so many good people at the top. The fact that I mean, I can't actually remember what the kind of standings are on the leaderboards nowadays, but it used to be. It is probably, maybe I'm dating myself a bit. I think sub 90 was probably good for top 50. I don't even know if it's good enough for top 200 now on the leaderboards. So the fact that they were even a 125 now is probably, I think it's still probably top 50. But I mean, it's the people have just gotten so good at this game.
Yeah, there's actually more than 200 sub 90s now.
That's. I'm really glad to see the overall community, how good everyone's gotten, how much everyone is still pretty active, at this game. That this game came out in the early 1990s, so it's quite the longevity, and the fact that this game is still being run, still being improved upon, still being enjoyed, right? This many years later, and continuing to do so, is really a really good testament, basically showing the longevity of both the game and the people who are within this community. I mean, I know that, well, I guess maybe more so recently, just because, well, the randomizer thinks they're in the game probably like a bit, of a fresh air, into running, I guess, like NMG and all that. And it's at this point, I guess, there's like the difference now between fast ROM and regular ROM, so there is a little bit more of an execution difference in terms of, I guess, like running the game vanilla. But I mean, still, like, you see, a lot of skills are very transferable, and it's actually, really nice to be able to see, both Gem and Yeroc still, being able to enjoy kind of like both Rando and NMG. Being able to kind of, and just consistently still, improving their time.
Absolutely, and like we've always seen like a lot of rando runners come across to vanilla speedrunning every now and then and do some runs. It seems like Fast ROM hasn't stopped that, so it's really nice that we still got that relationship with the rando scene.
Yeah, and what's probably about the same around for with or without Fast ROM, the escape sequence. I mean, like, you do have, some differences. I think probably one of the more notable ones is like with the frame rate at which you open chests. There's probably like a little bit of frame difference, but honestly, like, given that you really only have the D-pad, and, well, I guess we have a boomerang now that we can use, and our sword, but like, in terms of movement, it's probably not going to be too much of a difference. So for those of you who enjoyed the escape sequence, with the assured sword, have we got a speed run for you? Arguably, probably one of the most done, most attempted splits actually in this game. Although Rob, have you run Dark World RTA before?
No, I haven't actually, but I know a lot of people do that, and it's it's definitely a good idea. I think if you want to practice the late game, especially if you're like, obviously some different players approach the runs differently. If you're more of a reset heavy player, you might find yourself not getting that many runs into the Dark World, and then it can be really nice just to do some Dark World specific runs to make sure you've got that practice consistent.
Yeah, that's and that's right. For Dark World RTA is well, kind of as the name implies, it is Dark World, real time attempts, and well, that means that you do not get the pleasure of doing any of the Light World, for better or for worse. Some people do, have very, good experiences in Light World. I'm not sure. I guess I never really asked Yeroc what his thoughts on Light World are. My guess is that probably the general pervasive opinion is that once we start a run, the goal is to get to Dark World. So. It's okay. We're in the escape sequence. We're in the sewers. It's kind of dark. This is really our only world right now, so maybe it's kind of, it's kind of like, pseudo Dark World RTA, right? Until we have to, go outside and, I guess get some fresh air and like not act like we're just like, hermits inside and antisocial.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they should have skipped the lamp, then it could have been some real Dark World action down there.
Oh, dude. Imagine if we actually are physically able to skip the lamp. Okay, like, for the record, like, if you ever try to play this game casually, especially, and you actually do not take any of the 3 opportunities to go get the lamp, one in your house, one in Secret Passage, and one, of course, in Zelda Cell, which you saw both Gem and Yeroc pick up, you cannot actually get past to the back of Escape. Zelda, the kind... well-intended soul that she is, does not want you to, be alone in the dark, She's got the alone part covered, but the dark part she can't help you with. All right. Okay. So both these guys made it out of Escape. What thing? Some pretty reasonable times. It's right. I don't think on screen we can. I guess like their personal splits displayed, but ZSR's restream setup is really nice in that they actually do show us like each of the runner streams or their splits. And I believe we are. Oh no, Yeroc I think is a little bit red coming out of Escape. But I mean, honestly, like. Escape is, again, not having a lot of, I guess, like control over your movements. I mean, you're absolutely control of all your movements. However, the rats and the ropes, the guards, they don't have to all cooperate with you, and so that can certainly be like probably the biggest source of variance. We also do see both runners picking up Sandcart. I am trying to remember if there were... do you remember if there have been any runners that have not picked up Sandcart so far?
I've not seen anyone skip Sandcart in this season of League.
Yeah, okay. And it's a very practical safety. I mean, it is literally right there. You know, there's a chest. I think at this point we're just trained, I guess. I don't know. The muscle memory is too strong. Is when you see a chest, you just want to open it. I think especially with when Rando, first came. I think, when you do like when you kind of start learning the speedruns, right? You kind of, get into your mindset that yes, I can skip all these chests, and then I don't know. Now Rando has become so pervasive that sometimes you just see a chest. In fact, actually, that's one of the first things that people, like, when they come from Rando, they start doing speedruns, and then, they open the map chest, right? And, in the front of Escape, and, like, that's, like, one of the first notes that they have down, like, skip map chest, or don't open this chest.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, anyone who plays a lot of rando will find themselves rando braining things in speedruns every now and then. Hopefully it doesn't cost you too much time.
Yeah,
Like
and
opening a chest that you're not supposed to open is not so bad. Like going the wrong way because you're in rando mode is a little bit worse.
Oh yeah, yeah. And in fact, actually, I mean, so like this speedrun I think has been pretty consistent. I mean, there have been some isolated like pockets of optimization, like a lot of things based on tech, right? But I think the overall route hasn't really changed, I think, too much. So it's pretty well established. So that being said, though, you still kind of have to know the route, even if in this case, you're pretty familiar with the game mechanics, all the dungeons and stuff like that. The route has been pretty optimized to basically try and get you to the next destination the fastest within like the rules of the category. So like the biggest one, of course, is that you are not allowed to save and quit, with one race exception, and that if you get hit with Fake Flipper, and hopefully we'll never see that actually from either Gem or Yeroc, but otherwise yeah, that's actually probably another common one is like, let's say for example, you want to save and quit out of Zora's domain when you go by the flippers. You're not allowed to do that. And so that's kind of like an accidental, like, oops, like, and again, you only make that mistake, only once, hopefully. And then you learn to never do that again. Oh man, Jen's getting a little bullied here with all the style posts. I think, I mean, both guys did a good job in the big key chest room, where you're supposed to damage boost off of the popo in order to hit the switch using your iframes. I mean, again, that room is, like, they make it look really easy, but it's actually quite difficult, and kind of punishing, especially in this case. It does take we have total 4 hearts. Maybe one of the reasons why we pick up Sync Card as well is that you only have one basically heart's worth of buffer in order to be able to, like, let's say, mess up. Otherwise, if you're gonna do this the developer intended way in order to kill everything, those anti-figures are pretty terrible once they're dispersed.
If you don't grab Sank Heart, you don't even get a free refill after Escape either, so any damage you took there can carry over
yeah,
to...
no, I bless Sankar. I totally even forgot about the free refill. Yeah, that's actually probably one of the reasons why people also can be motivated to get it, even if you're at like, even if you don't think like, oh, you need this extra, you don't want to spend like 3 seconds getting the extra heart container because you don't need the total health. But like, if you are in half heart after Escape, right, like, you probably want that refill. Otherwise you're just gonna die like on the overroll into something that doesn't, like, breathe on you correctly, and then you have to start all over and you're just very sad. That's a very good point, Rob. Alright, I also did see the correct number of arrows being used. Nothing extra, nothing for the wall, nothing for extra Armoses. So we're good to go. Do you know what comes after Eastern Palace, and why we have to endure more text boxes from Saha?
Well, we get a nice pair of boots that allow us to start going really fast.
Perfect. This is the most expensive.
Every speedrunner's dream.
Yes, to be able to go fast. This is the most expensive shoe shop I think I've ever seen. I mean, I guess, like, they don't even take money, right? So you gotta, like, barter with Saha, but also, like, I mean, did you see how we had to go through to go get that green pendant? I mean, it is shiny and, like, round and stuff, but, like, man, that was, like, that's a lot of effort. I mean, I think it's worth it, right? Because you get to go 4 times as fast, right, with the boots. But still.
It's like Gem, unfortunately, had to second try the first spin speed of the game. Hopefully he can shake that off and hit the rest of them.
Yeah. And right, actually seeing that, Corey, pinning the first one. I'm trying to, so I know that Corey likes to do as few spin speeds, I think, in the run as possible. Although he is going to do this one going into the library, which is a completely optional one. But it does, in this case, if you have it well practiced, very clean entry into library as well. Looks like I'm actually going to maybe get some of that morale back. Yeah, like again, yeah, as you mentioned, failing the first one can actually be somewhat, it can be probably even more mental damage than, physical damage, if anything, because yes, yeah, you do lose time if you retry, but like, it's the first one. You hope that the one goes well, and then you hope that in this case you can pick yourself back up without having to incur like too much more. But yeah, very very nice spin speed though into library for both of these guys. Yeah, and part of course, why the reason why we want to do spin speed of all things, as opposed to we kind of see this case, kind of the other, probably more intended usage of the boost. You have some really nice, clean, long dash lines, all throughout, like nice and long and straight, and we're using even some slope dashes, try to save a couple extra frames here. But there's the whole point, right? You press the A button, you can go fast after charging it for like half a second. Spin speed, of course, kind of well, it's also kind of like the super version of this fast version. So if you can get it, you can keep the spin speed, and you can also keep it while you like turn directions and move all about, as opposed to just like one straight line. So obviously you can kind of see in even the library screen, right? Getting out of Saha, there were a lot of places where it's not straight. You have to go up and down the stairs and around, because that's what elder citizens of Hyrule like to do, is take some strolls around the block, and probably not necessarily the most well suited for running, but so but when in Rome, or when in the Eastern Palace area, you got to adapt.
Absolutely, and yeah, we're seeing some really nice long stretches in desert here. You can just dash all the way down, and yeah, Corey's well on his way to the big key here.
Yeah. Saha does have a cousin or somebody, right? Agina, that lives kind of close by. I mean, I know he's like sequestered into a cave, but maybe, he understands and appreciates the boots, right? That's why he's here in desert,
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, we're not going to see Agina today unless somebody, well, either Rando Brains or Hundo Brains. And,
oh my gosh, dude. Right, I would probably be okay with like Hundo Brains, because Agina actually has a heart piece here, right? That's what happened in the middle game?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah, like, I think even in Rando, the chance of people checking Agina before, like, even like doing Aga, or they think it's an Aga seed, or like anything, basically, like, Agina is like super, super low down the list, as in this, like, their last location that they want to do. It's actually probably their last location here in Light World and NMG as well. And that you really shouldn't like ever go there. If you are going there, something is desperately wrong with how things have gone before. Alright, talking about other spin speeds. Ooh, okay, Corey, going after the Desert Palace spin speed. I know that we talked a lot about spin speed, but this one's actually pretty good. You don't have to do it. Looks like Gem's actually going after it as well. But one of the nice things, of course, about NMG is that you get that really nice pause buffer. You can see them both in the case switching to the lamp, so kind of really be able to, slows down their great, speed with some great responsibility. So to be able to, not fall off. If you want to falling off, that is I'm not sure how much mental damage that would take, in addition to all of the physical time loss that you incur, but it is quite expensive.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's just yeah. You don't want to do that in a race. If the menu buffer wasn't an option, I don't think we'd see basically anybody going for it in races, because yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna actually ask you, like, would you attempt it in a race, like, without, if you didn't have the pause buffer? It sounds like the answer is no.
No, I'm not even sure I would attempt it in like PB attempts without the pause buffer.
Oh,
like,
okay, alright.
It's just so awkward to like move off there and get it without launching yourself off the edge.
Yeah, right. I guess like the window, in order to be able to kind of like switch directions, is just so tight without that. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, you know what? We are in the best light world fight of the game, using the combination in this case of a bow and sword slashes. Corey very nicely finishes off Landmos with a couple sword swipes. Gem is man, I think he's just gonna be able to finish this off in one last cycle. Hopefully, yeah. Really nicely done. extremely fun fight to be able to at least like watch and observe from my perspective, but also like by game design, right? We ended up kind of seeing like the the prize in Easter Palace was the bow. Armos Knights totally took the most damage, from the bow, also very clean, and so the game's kind of really pushing you to try to use the prize from the last one. Now the prize, while in Desert Palace was just the power glove, sorry, not just the power glove, but it is not an offensive weapon. It's more of a passive weapon, in that it gives you more access, right? So we're gonna see in this case, as these guys fake flipper over, hopefully they don't take any hits. All right, so good job on Yeroc's side. Swimming is in fact confirmed to be the hardest not understood mechanic of the entire game. All right, safe entry, and for both Gem and Yeroc.
We see some nice boomeranging of the pickles on Yeroc's side there.
Yeah.
Looks like we're gonna see the same thing there from Gem.
Yeah, that was actually I don't actually know when people, I guess, maybe started to like trend more towards using the boomerang. So other people, I think Chex maybe more recently mentioned this, is that after, so specifically before the mirror that we end up getting here on the old, I'm sorry, before the mirror, the magic mirror that we are going to get soonish, I will show you where, because Yeroc will do that for us. You can in fact actually get a free menu to whatever you want. Basically, you open up the menu button for free without actually having to incur like the menu like cost time. But that changes basically after Desert Palace. So you can actually see a lot of people, switching over to the boomerang because it's free, and the value of the boomerang because you can take out the. Do you know what? Oh my god! How did you? Oh wait, I did not think he could get through that. But here we are.
Yeah, the old man's going to be taking a bit of a walk off the cliff there as well.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, when you're, well, I guess I don't know how old that old man is, right? He does look, certainly to be up there in terms of age and life experience. But maybe I think once you get to a certain point in life, you just basically do whatever you want. You walk wherever you want, and it's I don't really know if. People. I mean, like, what's like, what are they gonna tell you otherwise? You're just kind of there. They basically just let you do whatever you want.
Okay, Gem just walked through that dead rock. That was
okay.
That was certainly something.
Is this Halloween might be a little bit early. I think it's only March. But I also still don't understand what these dead rocks are doing. By the way, Corey, I believe also gave us a bonus demonstration.
Gem does not want to be going upstairs
yet.
yet.
Gem, where are we going?
Okay, there we go. At least he realized before he got to the first locked door.
Okay. You know what? This is why it's great to have the mirror still, because we have a live demonstration of what it is to intentionally mirror in the dungeon, as opposed to in the Light World dungeon as opposed to pod. Sometimes the Hera Basement is probably not one of those locations that people, again, like to go to willingly, unless they're absolutely forced to. And even though they're forced to, we can actually see that sometimes it's just a big blocker. Of course, yeah. But Hera Basement is one of those times where, runners get to be, creative in how they decide to pass the time. There's probably not too much you can do to save whatever time that you can, so you just gotta get through, I don't know, like 45 whatever seconds in order to get through the tiles. You actually see Corey kind of using the boomerang, probably more so. Gem giving us our pot normal speed to be able to just kind of walk around with normal speed with the pot. Okay, but yes, we have both through and gotten the big key to this dungeon successfully. That is the Japanese translation of, I think. Alright, good bomb jump there on Yeroc's side. Let's take a little bit of a shortcut over to the prize. And yes, just like another passive item that we got from Desert, this thing, if you have the pleasure of talking to the bouncing pink ball, at least in the English version, it will ask you, hey, how come, I'm in ball form because I changed my mind so frequently. But you don't have to be in bunny form if you can go find something called a moon pearl. And here we are,
Nice early bomb jump from Gem there.
Okay. Both Gem and Yeroc are going into the Moldorm fight with a good amount of health. Ooh. Okay, alright. That Moldorm didn't have to behave quite that way, but he was a little bit angry, so it's hard to give an already irrational creature some sort of like rational justification for its actions, I guess. But yeah, Yeroc making it okay, fairly unscathed. Oh, all right, very nice cleanup on jump side to be able to make up a little bit of extra time here. Yeroc, really contemplating his life decisions about whether or not he actually wants to take the plunge, and and good thing in this game is there's no fall damage, right? So Yeroc should be ultra confident that he is able he should be able to just jump down without really any consequences.
And we saw from Gem there how that quick hop is supposed to look. Some of the quick hops in this game are kind of weird. That one you want to be ideally facing sideways when you hop off. That's just easier for reasons no one really understands.
Oh really? Really? So I thought all again. I'm glad you can like point like these more like subtle things out, because I honestly thought that all quick hops were the same. I'm sorry, I'm not. I hope that's not quick hopism, whatever. But I actually did thought that as long as you tap A, then you're good. But yeah, it looks like there are actually some more nuance to some of this others.
Yeah, I mean, most of the times where you're quick hopping like a ledge downwards, it is just like walk up to the ledge and tap A and everything is fine. But like depending, like there are a few that are weird like that. Like the one in the first room in Thieves Town as well. You like can't quick hop that if you're facing downwards.
Really?
You'll grab it instead.
Okay, I think I've actually noticed that sometimes, and I always wonder like what the difference is. But okay, that's actually really good to know. Okay, so I'm gonna be watching it for it in Thieves Town. Because sometimes, I understand these guys are trying to go fast, but I mean, for the most part, like especially for both Gem and Corey so far, the move has been pretty smooth. And of course, this is more memeing than anything else, right? We give them a hard time by, they can nail all of the difficult stuff, right? All the minor, subtle stuff, and then when it comes to like the major things, right? Like picking up a pot, opening up a chest, right? And suddenly, just like, oh, why do we see dust here? Why is there like a slight delay? And that's that's the true hard stuff of the whole game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I think that's one of the like my perception of speedrunning changed a lot when I started speedrunning, where like I think from an outsider you often think that like large chunks of the game you're just moving around and it's not that hard, and then every now and then there are some really difficult tricks you've got to do. But I think when you actually start speedrunning, it's almost the opposite. Like movement is impossible. The tricks are fine.
Yeah, actually, I think actually there's a lot of cooperation with that too, because like you actually see. I mean, I don't want to necessarily give like specifically, let's say like random examples, but you see people being able to it's like Ice Pal's bomb jump, for example, hammer jump, right? Early bomb jump, any of these like other techs, right? Sit there with a prac hack, right? You can load it up, you can basically do that screen like over and over. You can kind of nail it, right? After a while. When you're talking about like overworld movement, though, that is actually. It's much harder, right, in order to practice, but also I think it's also just much harder to nail down and get correctly. Because I think there's like less definitions of maybe correct, because especially if you have enemies that you have to kind of deal with, the correct suddenly becomes, oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah, Corey running into some trouble with the prize pack guards, but luckily didn't get any drops, so everything is fine.
Yeah, there's been some. Whatever fairy is sitting in their corner or on their shoulder is definitely giving both Gem and Corey some blessings so far. Yeah, we saw luckily in this case no prize packs or nothing was dropped.
Okay,
so
Gem's in the same situation, and we're 0 from 4.
Gosh.
Let's go.
Amazing. Hopefully this is not like a false sense of security or a lull that we're getting such good luck now. I hope we get the same number of good luck in terms of Aga blue balls that is also coming up. I guess I don't really mind if we get a lot of blue balls, so long as it's about the same number of blue balls, for both Gem and Corey, because it would be very sad to see like one person get through and then one person gets 7, and then you just have this like deficit that the other person just kind of has to come back from. Yeah, they're completely out of their control, Yeah, the other thing I think with kind of like bad RNG was that there was an instance in the Lost Woods where Jem got a bush card, as Check's kind of also, observed in chat, and that was probably one of the worst possible times in order to get a bush card or like a bomb or anything like that, because he was kind of in the middle of tree pull, trying to get his necessary funding for the Palace of Darkness coming up, and he already did one tree pull, but if he got hurt, he would have had to basically set up another tree pull for like the 80 rupees that we got later, and that would have been a pretty significant time loss.
All right,
So I
Corey's
think
going to be the first into the Aghanim fight here. Let's see how much time the RNG cost us today.
Yeah, I think outside of the first room, I guess technically it's the second room, for both Corey and Jem, especially Corey, I think otherwise this Aga Tower would look pretty solid. Jem, I think, got a little bit more nicked, maybe throughout, but I mean, like, you can kind of give a soft indication, I guess, of like how much health you have in this case. Nothing really, spectacularly bad, but just some minor things here and there. Yeah, probably the biggest saving grace, though, is that neither Jem nor Yeroc advanced the prize pack, which means that in like 45 minutes, when we get to the at least final dungeon before like the end game dungeon, we at least have a shot at basically being pretty safe and hopeful. Okay, I have not been keeping track of blue balls. Was that Jem's first? And
that was definitely Jem's first. Okay, Corey, that looked like a 1 or a 2. I think you had a really nice one there.
All right. Well, we do see, something here being posted in by Corey or Yeroc, in chat. This is a run. Is this? I was a 0. I guess I didn't even. But it might have been.
I definitely saw a blue ball from Corey, but it might only have been 1, and it was certainly less than 3 because you didn't get the extra lightning cycle.
Right. Okay. Jem, though, on the other hand, okay, we're already getting a preview by him. He says it's 4 blue balls. Okay, 4 versus like 1 or something. That's or 0 even for that matter. Like, okay, 4 versus 1. Thanks, Pix. Pix is our awesome restreamer, basically. Swooping in the last minute, being able to put on this broadcast for us. It's not going to be that bad, And of course, Light World is great. It's about roughly about like 1/3 of the game. Coming off here right under the 30-minute mark, and the run's about a little under starting an hour and a half, so it makes a lot of sense too. And of course, runs are made in the Dark World. This is actually when all of the gaming happens. Like, Light World, there's probably less you can control over, just because, for the first 11 minutes, you really don't get boots or any type of, like, real movement item, right? So then, the best you're going to be able to do is, just trust your trusty D-pad. Hopefully, it's still sharp after however many speedruns you've done. But here, in this case, you really get to kind of try and make up some time. And of course, part of what wins Rue races is kind of twofold. The first one, of course, is your personal performance, right? You certainly want to do rooms well, you want to execute well, you want to, feel good about playing well, right? Nailing all your spin speeds, doing the rooms correctly, good overworld movement. The other one, of course, is that, your opponent can also play poorly or get unlucky. That is another way to increase or decrease the time gap between you two. You certainly don't kind of hope for that, but these things, especially in Dark World, when the speedrun is already pretty tight in terms of health and resources and safety, can actually have quite a bit of an impact. Now, coming into Palace of Darkness, I do not believe that neither Corey nor Jem makes an attempt at the newly discovered boots-centric route in Pod, where forget bombs, we don't need to take any extra damage. We're just going to hover our way basically to the big chest, for example, and forget the hammer jump. Slightly different route, and actually I believe it was coded to take 6 seconds faster, which is in an already optimized speedrun. This is pretty significant. But I believe we're just gonna see the more like classic version, of getting the small keys and then like the big key, and then doing like the very classic, time-saving hammer jump.
Yeah, for sure. Like saving time with the hover route is like so tough. That's definitely like that's basically like you need to be at like world record level before you're implementing that into your runs.
Can confirm. I believe the person who did do that actually. So he I don't know if he had like certainly on Speedrun.com, he is the world record holder, at least the first top of the leaderboard, which is of course Ari, and who is in fact one of the runners who is running in the afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern doubleheader versus Fox. That should also be a really fun race to see. Yeah. So good thing, by the way, Pod also does actually have a plethora of bombs that you can do. In fact, this is actually probably one of the nicest, let's say like bomb farming locations. But even if you like end up dying or something, you know, in Pod or taking an early exit, you know, there are lots in this case. Like actually, every single time we go through the screen, intro screen, which is probably like 3 or 4 times or something, you can always pick up a free bomb. You know, there's actually 2 of them if you really want them, you know, in the room.
Jim's going to come up to his hammer jump now.
It was very well done on Corey's side too. Ended up placing. I don't think was there maybe 1 extra buffer? I'm not sure. But it was certainly it was fast though.
Right, Jim's pretty far off here. Going to have to buffer down a few times, I think. There we go. Just a couple extras.
Okay, all right, yeah, yeah. Actually, very good recovery in this case.
Yes, that first pause was pretty high, but yeah, I fixed it pretty well.
It's still kind of surreal to me when people say like, oh, okay, you guys use your pop buffers to move 1 frame or to move 1 pixel, and I'm just like, okay, but I can't actually tell what that pixel looks like. I don't know. It's just like the movements are so subtle. But again, I mean, like I assume after in those cases, like if you've actually practiced this, you know, for a bit, you kind of know what you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be using movement. They'll be using like a visual cue for like the position rather than for the movement. Like, you know, you won't be looking to think, oh yeah, did I just move 1 frame? Yes, I did. They'll just be looking to like, am I on the right pixel now? And that's how they'll tell if they got it right.
Yeah, and it's actually that's also another kind of a nice thing about this game is maybe not necessarily specific to like these bomb jumps, but in general, this game is I think pretty accessible because like I think some people use visual cues, some people you can use audio cues. I mean, they're just like multiple things that whatever you know kind of suits to or plays to your strengths better, or like the better you learn. Some people just kind of execute, be able to see things better. It's really good, kind of good to be able to just get you know that from multiple aspects. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, Corey getting some slightly awkward patterns here from Helmer. We got some lefts and rights. We got some fireballs. He was able to despawn the second set there, luckily. So not too bad a fight.
Oh yeah. The fireballs, of course, you know the way either Helma attacks is kind of through like the tail swipe, just like any other Helma Scorpion King, I guess that we see. Of course, the other one is going to be spitting out fireballs, actually, just like other Fireball Scorpion Kings. You don't want the fireballs. Not that necessarily. They're more dangerous than per se the tail swipe. They just take up a lot of time, and unfortunately, this is for the original game. The more sprites are on screen, the kind of like slower the fight can, you know, overall movement can still become, just because it becomes a little bit laggier. This is something you can't control for what it's worth, and you actually see kind of all these fireballs, right, dispersing. They also can be obstacles if you want to try and get closer to Helma.
Okay,
this is
let's
the
just get
reason
these.
why
There we go.
Okay, alright. Nobody had used the same cart necessarily, the total number of hearts, but it's really good to be able to just have that extra hit available to you, right? You know, because actually, so we saw the Helmasaur. Okay, I know that there was some math talk in the chat earlier about modulo. We won't have to go that advanced. I know that, you know, Fox probably has a much more advanced degree. We're just gonna go literally with the addition subtraction. Hopefully that's, you know, not too complicated. Helmasaur does 2 hearts of damage, and if we have 7 total hearts, which means that we can do up to 3 hits and still be alive. So just even having that extra hit buffer that the same card provides you, you know, we're able to take 3 hits versus 2, unless you still play, you know, the normal way that you prefer, whether it's a bit more aggressive or it's a bit more conservative. Because once you are afraid that you're gonna, you know, 1 hit and you're dead, you suddenly become, you know, much more probably more nervous, maybe a bit more cautious. And once you kind of get out of your comfort zone, that's when the danger really hits.
Yeah, I'm sure Fox will be quick to tell us that that basically just is modular arithmetic as well. We're looking to have.
Oh yeah, actually that's true. We're
looking to have health that is looking to have health that is 1 mod 2 rather than 0 mod 2 in order to have an extra hit.
Thank you. I feel like I'm back in a lecture hall now, you know, with my professor, like teaching assistant, trying to scribble down frantically and understand and try to pass my next math class. I did also hear that Modulo is very powerful in cryptography as well. You know, I don't think we're gonna have any like secret code hackers, you know, for Hyrule. I don't know if their technology is that advanced, but you know, hey, you know, if you like Modulo, you know, there are things that you could do. I heard that there's a guy who you can talk to if you bring him a purple chest, and as you know, as a locksmith or pick, I guess, he will open the chest for you, and maybe you know he has more sense, right, for what to do with you know some advanced math techniques. Pretty clean overworld so far. One thing that we always like to see by the time we end up getting to at least to active the flute activation, and of course, oh, nice quick warp, of course, on Gem's side and first dig. Very proud for both Gem and Yeroc. I mean, you know, despite us doing, well, sorry, both Gem and Yeroc doing, you know, this run probably hundreds of times by now, if not thousands, and we know exactly where that flute is. Sometimes it can still be pretty difficult to accurately dig at the very spot, you know, at the very location.
Oh yeah, I definitely didn't get first dig myself in my in my race yesterday, so yeah, I know how it feels.
Mm-hmm. 5 dig. Who did? Okay, so somebody. I do believe did 5. Did they do it in a race? Maybe I don't remember if that was the actual case, but I remember seeing clips of that. Alright, so we can see in this case, you know, sometimes you can't necessarily control like the RNG based on what the bushes kind of give you. A little bit of delay, just because of the lag. Okay, we're gonna watch this quick warp, or quick hop. Nice. So he did not face down, right? And which means that he was able to just tap A and then move. Nice.
Oh, Gem with the bonk here on
no.
3 Musketeers. Okay, somehow that third one didn't aggro.
Yeah, I have no idea. In fact, it actually looked like the third one was touching him, right? And he did not get hit and still was able to charge his dash. Okay, yep. You can also see in this case, Thieves Town also can be pretty punishing. It just randomly you can still get hit. Even if you do correct movement, you know, sometimes the enemies aren't cooperative. Just like we're gonna come up here in this hallway, or the hellway, in this case is counting. Even if you do everything correctly, we're gonna try and get the God Pixel, you know, as landing on the right pixel, so then when you start to dash upwards...
Okay,
oh no!
This is not going great.
This is the bad pre-hellway. Oh no. Looks
right,
like he actually, okay, you know what? Oh yeah, that was all practice because it's not actually RNG manipulation, but you know what? We can copiously think that it was RNG manipulation. Who knows?
Oh yeah, we're gonna see a fast fan 2 in this run.
Yeah, okay, so I think that damage-wise, it would be kind of nice if Corey maybe had one more heart. You know, that being said, like the amount of damage he took in the pre-hallway room, not great. I mean, yeah, he should still be fine because again, you know, he has one hit, basically still has buffer left, and you know, going to the blind fight, as long as everything goes according to script, then he should be fine. But it is kind of there was a lot of time loss on that screen because like not only for the damage boosting, he didn't even damage. He wasn't even able to damage like forward. You know, like he had to basically you know, he had to go back and restart that room basically like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, Corey's. I mean, you don't see a lot of deaths in Thieves Town, but Corey's definitely got to be a little bit careful here. This is not a good amount of health to have.
Yeah. I mean, we get to see in this case oh man, Chex told me what those things were called. Gibdos. I'm sorry, Chex, my memory is terrible. Yeah, but like the patch.
Gibos, I think.
Gibos. Okay, thank you.
Because Gibdos are the mummies, and it's really confusing
okay.
that the 2 enemies with such similar names.
Right. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Rob. All right. Someone will need to remind me of that next week as well. But yeah, like those guys do 1 heart of damage. But yeah, we're definitely kind of coming up to the point where it's kind of like in the danger zone. You know, okay, you know, like when you go to like a water theme park show or something, right? There's like, you know, like the danger zone, and then there is like the you will get wet, you know, zone for sure within that danger zone. So we're not quite at the you will get wet part or dying, and you know, I think Yeroc is probably also a bit more conscious because he actually didn't pick up the hallway, you know, pot just in case.
Yeah, I think that's also like having lost a little bit of time here in this Thieves Town. I think that's more a thought to make sure I stay alive for the sake of the race.
Yeah.
Like more thoughts towards the race than towards the PB, which he was kind of on PB pace coming to the Dark World.
Oh yeah. I mean, again, I think it's actually a good point you bring up is that like especially with how dedicated and how good these both these guys are. It's also very nice to be able to have, well, in this case, a PB run in a race situation. But again, ultimately the goal is to win the race, right? So if you kind of either know that you're ahead, think you're a little ahead, or you just want to take the safety, so you're willing to take the extra 3 seconds to go pick up the pot and then re-enter the room versus if you end up dying here in blind, it is not only the time loss, you have to go basically to the back of the dungeon again, but also the fight is significantly harder because you start at the bottom of the screen as opposed to the top of the screen. And now you're kind of at the mercy basically of like blind, right? All the, his heads do 2 hearts of damage, all the fireballs do 1 heart of damage, movement's very erratic, and you're probably only starting out at like half health too.
Exactly,
so.
like if you come in, if you have to do the refight, then it turns out that blind is not a scripted fight.
But still, very well done. Both Jem and Yeroc kind of following along the script, which is really good. Oh, would it have been a goal, Jem? Man. Stupid 3 Musketeers.
Yeah, no.
We were on the wrong...
Jem's Thieves interior definitely looked pretty good there.
3 Musketeers, we always, hail them as like the heroes, right? Of the, I think it was like the French Revolutionary, whatever time frame they were from, right? I always wondered what it was kind of be like from like the other side,
Oh, yeah,
how they were viewed.
Jem was only just over a second off gold there, even with that bonk, which I'm sure lost a lot more than the second. So that would have been a real nice one.
If Jem could like dress up, and, like, or have Link, put on some actual like plate armor or something, or like carry a wider sword, maybe the guards would not have attacked him. They would have been fooled by the camouflage and the, and the disguise. You can maybe try that for next time. I don't think so. Like, okay, if Vanilla Preset, in Brando comes back to NMG League, we can suggest everyone to use like the actual like Hylian guard sprite, and then we'll see in this case if they actually aggro. All right, Corey, getting his Temper Sword at last. All right, the cheapest possible purchase that we actually had to make. And yes, I do count Saha, despite that he doesn't, because I know he doesn't take rupees, so maybe it's quote unquote free, but like no, we had to pay a pretty hefty green pendant for it, and that's probably worth more than 10 rupees. So I still, stand by the smith is the cheapest thing that you can get. In fact, we got 2 swords that were better than our, well, actually 1 level sword better than the, the Sword of Evil Spain, like the best sword in all of Hyrule, right? Only for, a measly, 10 rupee cost. He did get Fence Dash, of course, save the run. His run's actually already been pretty good, so it doesn't really need saving. So, but it's off to a very good Skullwood start.
Yeah, it looks like we're 2 for... No, I thought that was clean. Oh no.
It looked, yeah.
We're not 2 for 2 on
too.
Fence Dashes.
Easiest room in the game for Yeroc. Oh my gosh, dude! So many blocks! That one's not Jem's fault, right? I mean, but like...
Yeah, the
really,
bush...
Yeah.
The bush price
it's
patch has
really
not been nice to Jem this run, getting that bonk there, and also the guard in the 3 rupee segment.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about Light World, man. This part, the whole part of this world is just cursed.
Okay,
Well, let us not ever go to, West Dark World again.
Corey placed that first bomb too high and then the second one too low, so we've got to be a little bit careful with the bomb count now.
Oh yeah, I was actually going to ask you. So normally, you have, well, so in this case, Corey used 3 bombs for this bomb jump as opposed to just like the 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you know if he needs to go get backup bombs somewhere then, or he's still probably going to be okay, maybe depending on his route?
He might grab a backup in Bombable Floor in Ice Palace. I don't know if he's got like if he's had any drop, like I don't know if he had like a random drop so far that would put him ahead of where he plans to be here.
Okay. All right, so we can basically kind of like keep an eye out. So kind of like the nice thing at least about if you end up nice early bomb jump on jump side. Yeah, in this case, like if you end up failing some of the more I would say like more well-known bomb jumps, for example, like the hammer jump, right? Because you're in pod, even if you so that one you probably are more like health limited, because every time you fail, you probably lose hearts, right? Either from like the bomb hit, or if it didn't hit you, you fall from the pit or something. But like at least for bomb counts, pod is like 1 million, bombs, right? You can go pick up, whatever you need for however many times you need it. But for other parts of the run, like there are backup ones, but you're definitely kind of needing to maybe to go out of your way a little bit more. I guess, yeah, but sometimes what is maybe their scramble is our benefit, because I think in Ares run like last week we saw where all of the magic pots were in Gauntlet, which I also did not know. So it's just you get a lot of treats.
Alright, Corey getting through the moth fight there, nearly having a really good fight, just didn't, like, a dash poke attempt for the last hit, didn't quite get it, so a couple of spikes moved, but still not too bad.
Yeah, anytime in this case we see, so the measurement, I guess, or the valuation of how good the moth fight goes, is number of spikes that are moved. So in this case, only 2 spikes moved, so solid 8 out of 10. Because usually that just means like the spikes don't start to move until a little bit later in the fight, right? Kind of we've seen here, yeah. So like Gem also a very solid fight. The top one like barely moved, right? Barely started to move. So a very nice 8 out of 10, but so probably was a close 9 out of 10. Yeah, of course, Ghost. It's true for every boss, right? The faster you kill it, the better it is for many things involved. Right, like certainly, it does very good things for your own time, right? Because you want to certainly beat the game as fast as you can, but also like especially for Moth, the longer that fight drags on, you are certainly at the disadvantage, because all the spikes start to move, right? Because we can see this, like they don't even start moving until a little bit later, and then once you've got like 4 or 5 spikes moving all around, the conveyor's moving, Mothula will actually eventually become just like Moldorm, and he will start like he has an enrage phase, and he does it's basically like he got the boots, and he'll just move like 4 times and like start to rush you, and then you're just very, very sad. You're probably more in a daze and like just like stupefied by how fast he just like basically rushed you and probably killed you. But that this you do not want to be in that situation. Ooh, actually, I don't know if I've seen that use of the pause buffer, like to switch the mirror there on like the Ropa to try and maybe mitigate some of that lotto.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've not seen that one before, but yeah, it might be worth something.
All right,
Gem
so this is
using
one of
his menu there to try and hit the quick warp. Looks like he did.
Yeah, unfortunately, he also ended up getting hit by a red guard too, so it's a little bit unfortunate. Like he's down 1 heart. The overall health amount is probably not going to be a big deal. It's more that we kind of want some sword beams going into Ice Palace. He does have a good number of opportunities to try and farm a 50-50 heart, either from a bush or from a rock or from something. But at least it's only 1 and not 2. I was gonna say though, so Corey also demonstrated Quick Fish, which is also one of his like trademark emotes. So you can actually save. And actually, do you know how many frames Quick Fish saves? Is it like 20? Something?
It's probably something about that.
Okay. Yeah, we usually see that, right, how Quick Fish ends up working is that, so while we did see, in this case, Catfish sitting in this circle of rocks, did you know that circles are not actually circles and they're more like squares or rectangles? I know that, when we're back in kindergarten, they tell you, you learn the different shapes. Hyrule, geometry and education is slightly different. I don't know if math is also the same, but at least for, pattern recognition and, different sided objects, it is not consistent. So it turns out that Catfish will also activate if you do like a little corner, outside of the circle as well.
Yeah, to answer the question in chat there about the lottery, yeah, you can like it's RNG dependent based on the enemy's movement, and also like frame rule dependent. Like the game only checks for like contact with an enemy I think it's every 3 frames or something. So like you have to get unlucky on that regard as well. And if you get really unlucky, that enemy can actually clip you into the into the mountain.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That one's super rare though.
Now, see, from a when you're watching, right, it's pretty hilarious. And honestly, like it's great content for us because again, as you mentioned, like it's super unlikely, right? So when you get to witness it, it's great. However, it's probably everything's fine. It's probably not great if you are the runner, because that means that you probably have to go to. I don't know what you're even supposed to do if you get stuck on the wall. Are you supposed to save and quit? Are you supposed to try and die?
I think you can get out. But that's actually kind of funny. Like things like that happening is actually how like bomb clipping that we use in like some of the major glitch categories got discovered. Like when that happens to someone, you're like, oh, if you get damaged at the right place, you can get boosted into a corner. Can we actually abuse that? And it turns out that we can.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, all of these are great discoveries, right? You may think that it could be maybe not useful for the specific category, but yeah, this game, while this is considered to be NMG League, so no major glitches, that's what it stands for. There are many other categories that a lot of other people also do run as well. Glitch categories, minor glitch categories, overworld glitch, hybrid major glitches. The list goes on. For how, like...
Both runners having a time imbombable floor.
Yeah, yeah. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I also learned that you can also place the bomb extremely high and still knock both Stalfos in and kill them at the same time. I really thought it actually had to be much lower, but as demonstrated, it actually, can be incredibly much higher.
Looks like both runners are going to be on 0 bombs coming out of ice. That's not a problem as long as they're not planning on getting ice rod in the swamp segment.
I am trying to think when Gem gets his ice rod. I believe he goes to swamp first. Corey, I think, goes to swamp immediately because he might be in the I want hook shot as soon as possible so I can stop using spin speeds mentality. Okay. Alright, okay. I think we missed one, maybe poke or slash at the very end, but it's okay because Corey took the hit that he was able to take and then was able to do a very nice cleanup.
Everything's fine in the end. Obviously a bit scary, like that last hit he was on 4 hearts for, so if you had been hit by one of the puffs, it would have been game over, but yeah, got through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's actually one of the reasons why you kind of want to, come in this fight with one more heart than, I guess, like what the, kind of like enemies, do, right? So the prize of Ice Palace that we ended up not getting, of course, is the blue mail, which means that instead of doing 4 hearts of damage,
yeah, Gem's in the same situation here. Let's try and tidy this up, please.
Oh my gosh!
Alright, 2 down.
I cannot believe that the cold stare puff, like, when he was rushing him, but like behind him, like he ended up not getting hurt. That last spin was so clutch. Okay, this is fine. Yeah, so as we were saying, we were supposed to get the blue mail here that both Gem and Yeroc decided to not get. And so if you have the blue mail, the cold stare and all the subsequent bosses that are endgame will only do 3 hearts of damage. But until then, they will do 4. And then yeah, going into the fight with a multiple of 4, where we're supposed to use n modulo 4 equals 0 is bad because you also want modulo 1, so you can take that extra hit.
Alright, yeah, so as you said, Corey is heading straight to Swamp Palace here. Yeah, so this is suggesting that he's doing what we call boomer shopping, which is getting both of your extra bits of equipment, the Ether Medallion and the Ice Rod, in the Misery Maya split. We'll see what Gem's plans are here.
Do you know why it's called boomer shopping?
I think it's just because it's like the old thing, like it was like the old standard.
Oh,
everyone kind of used to do it.
I mean, that's all fine. Because I was gonna like, we already have the boomerang. We don't have both boomerangs, but we do have one boomerang, and we got it pretty early. So I also like the fact that we have exactly 100 rupees on Yeroc's side. I've been told that while it is subtle, having 100 versus 99 also can save you a little bit of extra time. Just because we don't have to necessarily, like keep thinking about like counting. Everything in
Yes.
this game causes lag, apparently.
Something to do with lag reduction. I'm not entirely sure like why the
Yeah.
specific numbers changed that, but who knows. Gem gets the anti-fairy skip there, nicely set up.
Yeah, that's always kind of cool to see. Yeah, so we are, so, alright, so, just to kind of recap, so we went through the first dungeon. For those of you, so, right, if you end up doing an overworld map check, which we have not seen either Gem nor Yeroc 2, because we know where all the dungeons are, and we know what chronological order that we're supposed to beat them in. We did do the first one, you know, in order for Pod, because we need that hammer. The hammer, basically, you can kind of see, lets us go through the hammer bridge in the south to kind of let us all to run all the way to Thieves Town, right? And then of course the hammer also locked the main prize of Thieves Town. But you know, that being said, we're here now. So we did dungeon 1, we did dungeon 4, which is Thieves Town, we did dungeon 3, and then we did dungeon 5, and now we're dungeon 2. So we were supposed to come here, right? Basically right after Pod, and you know, as the developers intended. And but we did 3 other dungeons before then. So we're here actually super healthy, probably more overpowered, not only necessarily just like in health, but also equipment as well. So
yeah,
I
the
don't
tempered
really...
sword's a really big deal in Swamp here. We'll be like one-shotting both of the regular enemies and also have the opportunity to get a 0 cycle kill on the boss. We'll see if either of them can pull it off.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to that. All of these, you know, really nice, I would say like textbook, you know, tempered sword fights, for boss fights especially, are very, you know, clean and pretty to see. Yeah. So kind of unlike, I would say, even for Pod, maybe less so for, let's say, like Thieves Town or even like Skullwoods for that matter. Ice Palace is very, you know, Ice Palace and probably to some extent Pod is one of the dungeons where you kind of have to be careful with your movement in that if you end up taking like 1 or 2 extra random hits somewhere, you're kind of in the danger zone, right? Of not being able to necessarily survive like the rest of the dungeon. You know, Colster obviously we saw did 4 hearts of damage. You know, at the end, a lot of enemies ended up doing 2 hearts of damage, so you don't really have a lot of buffer. Here, on the other hand, you know, again, we're already 3 hearts more than we probably should have at this point. We, as you mentioned, have Temper Sword, which is actually very good defense, so we probably won't get hit as much. But if we do end up getting hit, you know, look at these enemies, right? Half a heart here, 1 heart there, you know, we got plenty of buffer. They're probably just going to be more annoyed at the time loss that they, you know, if you get electrocuted, you know, that animation takes a long time, right? You probably damage boost his back. You know, probably are out of the dash line you wanted to be in. You gotta like readjust and trying to like get through the rest of the screen.
Yeah, for sure. Like the enemies threaten your Swamp Palace by like messing up your movement more than they do by like threatening to actually kill you.
Now that being said, for at least for what it's worth, the bosses are certainly, you know, there is a reason, you know, why. Not only, of course, the bosses are just like physically like bigger, you know, like the bigger minions of Ganon, than these guys. They actually do you know more damage. You know, these little like puny, you know, things that just kind of swim back and forth. They're like Link size, but like the bosses, I think they're like, I don't know, 4x Link size or something like that. And Argus in this particular case, just like Helmasaur, just like most bosses, I guess, yeah, you know, actually, I think Blighty even did 2 hearts of damage. Argus himself will also do 2 hearts of damage too, if you're not careful. You mentioned this case, being able to try to attempt the 0 cycle. So, not possible with only Master Sword, which is what you're intended to come here with, but we're gonna see in this case that if you actually do try to attempt the 0 cycle, if Argus gets too close to you, it can actually be kind of in a, like, you can be kind of in a jam. Hopefully in this case the fight will go well here for Yeroc.
Not quite. Back it up. Not quite quick enough, but yeah. Still gonna be a
Argus...
quick one.
Yeah, Argus did look like he was kind of like really gunning for Yeroc here. Probably got a bit more anxious because, you know, Yeroc was just like, you know, mowing through all of his midi puffs. Yeah, but we kind of actually see that, you know, at the very end, at least in the attempt cycle for 1, you know, Yeroc ended up kind of getting a hit out of his hook speed or hook shot position, and that was kind of like 2 hits, like 2 hearts of damage, right? So if you're kind of like already stuck in that position, and then Argus is, you know, not kind with movement, you can actually get a hit pretty quickly. All right, Gem can come into the 0 cycle. We suddenly have a lot of health somehow depleted from when he exited left side swamp. Oh, but nice zero cycle in phase 1.
Oh.
It's okay. We're just gonna do the backup win route. This is why we always 2-spin. Forget the fire rod. Okay, we got in a bad spot in the dark world anyway.
Yeah, so between the two of them, they had the perfect Argus fight. Right?
That's
Jem
right.
got,
That's
Jem
right.
got the
Perfect.
zero cycle, and Corey got the fire rod quick kill.
Oh, hello, boy. If only we could do NMG co-op, you know, like okay, I know there is actually a physical like NMG co-op thing, you know, that exists for as in like 2 players actually play like the same thing, and then once one player picks up, you know, like the bow or something, it also triggers it for the other person as well. But like honestly, like if we can actually somehow, you know, have 2 people run, and then, you know, it's like, you know what, okay, I'll do phase 1 of Argus, and then you can do phase 2 of Argus, you know, or that'd actually be kind of interesting, honestly.
Yeah, the true NMG co-op is just like both players do a run and then you splice them together afterwards.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Somebody make this category happen. I think it'd be hilarious. Okay, so we had a little bit of a...
Oh, we got bridge dead rock. Okay.
What the heck,
Get out of here.
dude?
Yeah, that was pretty rare as well, but it certainly happens.
Yeah, super rare. I mean, I'm really glad to see that the dead rock actually ended up getting out of the bridge. Like, that doesn't always happen. Like, sometimes the dead rock, you know, like, it's just random, right? It can just be up, like, the movement is just up and down. And then, you know, you're basically just, like, you know, standing there waiting to see, in this case, if he moves, actually, hopefully to the right and not the left. Or I guess you just have to leave the screen and then come back, right? And it's, either way, it's oh my god.
Okay, luckily we have a backup bomb here.
Luckily, we have a backup bomb. Yeah, that's the most anxiety-inducing screen, in my opinion, of the entire game. Especially because the crabs, just like this, don't always have to be kind to you. And again, especially for a light world area, the crabs do 2 hearts of damage. Like, it is a lot.
We saw the Yeroc classic Ice Rod Cave spin speed there. I don't think anybody else goes for it.
I do not recall anybody else going for that one. I agree with you. I thought the whole point of getting hookshot was so we didn't have to spin speed anymore. Guess we can't be on hookshot after we get ice rod. We have to go menu over to the flutes. All right, so Yeroc was able to recoup 1 heart back, at least, you know, get some some benefit from at least one of the crabs. So he is coming into Mire with only down 2 hearts. This is kind of one of the dangers, I guess, or the downsides of doing ether, or getting ether medallion with the hookshot and hook speed, and then doing ice rod, because we would really like full health going into this room here that Corey's doing. We'll hopefully see a good demonstration of Mire 2 on gem side with sword beams.
The good news for Corey is that we are leaving the room with full health, at least.
Yes.
So,
that's
got
great.
Some heart drops.
Yeah.
Gonna be super comfy for all the damage boosting we want to do in the back half of the dungeon.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So for Mire, so we finally kind of gotten past, you know, dungeons 1 through 5. You know, not in that order, right? But now we're kind of actually, you know, getting through actually the rest of the game in its more or less kind of like intended order, right? So we're here in dungeon 6. At least in the Dark World. And yeah, so Jem did a really nice demonstration of why we want Sword Beams for Mire 2, because in this case it can go significantly faster. Don't have to wait for the Fire Rod or anything like that for the burning animation. But also, as you mentioned, Rob, like, probably one of the paramount things is, okay, you can't get a fast Mire 2, that's okay, but we really want full health, or at least like mucho health, right? As much as we can get for this dungeon, especially when we can use it, you know, as our best resource, you know, trying to beat the boss at the end. So ideally, we would have, let's say, 7 hearts for the boss. Okay, we have to do more math. I'm sorry, because I actually really don't like subtraction, and in fact, I have been told in the past I shouldn't be you shouldn't, like, you're not allowed to subtract, only add. So maybe we can count up. So ideally, we'd have 7 hearts, you know, at the end for the boss. If that's a more comfortable level, but 5 is doable. We were also gonna do 3 more hearts to get a small key out of a bunch of spikes in the chest. So that's 3 more hearts. So that's 10 hearts so far. And then if we have a little bit left over, we can use 1 more heart to potentially gamble it away with the spark, which I'm not sure. Let's see, in this case, Yeroc is going to at least attempt to do it. Close enough?
Yeah, not too bad. That's an okay boost.
Okay.
Like, he didn't get shot in the wrong direction, so, you know.
Yeah,
we call that a win.
That's right. That's right. We take our win. Okay. I cannot speak on behalf of ZSR or anybody here affiliated with this channel for any type of condoning, gambling. But if you are going to take a wager, at least 50%, is a good cutoff for you. That's just probabilistically speaking. All right, looks like Gem's gonna go through the same spark gamble as well. Pro gambling, perfect. Okay. So, some people are more are luckier than others. It looks like so Gem, kind of was the other side of the coin, I guess, in that he actually got damage with his back, which is kind of not what you want, but it is the risk that you end up taking.
All right, Corey coming into the basement here, going to be doing Spooky. Really quite important that he doesn't fail Spooky here because he has not got a bomb.
Excellent observation. I'm scared, but we have faith in Corey. Okay, that's a good sign.
I think he stalled there, actually hoping for the bomb drop, but got a heart instead. Alright, Spooky 1 down.
Okay, alright. So that's probably like the run ending Spooky. If he didn't end up getting that one is I don't know where he's gonna get a bomb. If you didn't end up getting the second one, it's fine. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of time loss. You have to go up and hit the switch, but I mean, like, at least you're able to at least progress through the game.
Okay, that's... yeah, a little scared.
Oh my god! Okay, everything is, oh.
There it is.
Dude, those eyes, holy cow. I did not think that they would reach so far. Like, they really, really, like, went out of their way in order to go attack Ori.
Yeah, this is why you want as much health as possible, so that you can afford to take like one hit from the eyes and not have to have a truly terrible fight.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is... man. You gotta wonder about sometimes, of different bosses, like paychecks, that they get from... Yeah, and assuming they get paid, of course, right? But, so what are the 3, like, run killers? So, in the light world, I don't think he's a Ganon employee per se, but it's Moldorm. In the dark world, like, it's probably between Helmasaur, Cold Stare, and Vitreous. Like...
Yeah.
I think... Yeah.
I think from the NMG races I've watched, I think Vitreous is like the biggest actual, like, in terms of like actually causing a death. I think Vitreous is the biggest one, probably followed by Colstar.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly makes a lot of sense, right? So, I mean, one, we are here kind of, despite us being, potentially, like, pretty overpowered, in Swamp, right? We are actually here, with less than what we're intended to be here. And again, we are supposed to be here after Ice Palace, which means that we should have Blue Mail. And so any dungeon or anything kind of after Ice Palace, the game's like, oh, you have armor that, cuts all the damage in half? Well, let me improve, increase the damage output by all the enemies by 2x, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like, obviously, like in terms of like a casual playthrough, you'd also expect a player to be here with like some heart pieces, some fairies and bottles, that sort of thing. That we just do not have in speedruns. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think what ended up happening, we kind of saw on Gem's side when he ended up doing a more, I would say, like textbook Vitreous fight, is the eyeballs do 4 hearts of damage, because I think this is what ended up hitting Corey out of his kind of like initial position, and we're gonna try and take the damage boost from the slime, which is only 1 heart of damage. Really good refight here on Corey's side. Also be able to save some of the arrows as well.
Puts 1 in the wall, but yeah, his arrow count's fine. I'm pretty sure he always goes for Mike arrows anyway, so yeah, he's got plenty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just remember like the magic number is 8 after this fight. So long as you have at least 8, then you should be good.
Yeah, 8's fine if you if you get like Turtle Rock Pot and then the free pot in GT, but actually like if you're getting Mike arrows, then 3 is good enough. So, although you'd love to have more so that you can skip the chest after Ice Armors.
Right, right. Oh, right. I don't think anybody will ever complain about having too many arrows. I don't think it's possible, actually, in this run. It's always about, like the arrows are probably one of the best resources. Not even memeing, all right? Like, I know that I'm a very big fan, obviously, of the bow and the arrow in Light World. But if you actually look at like what the bow usage is, given how much sometimes we don't have sword beams at our disposal, and in the gauntlet, like having a ranged weapon is actually really, really nice. I did see in this case, yeah, we actually, speaking of sword beams, the less commonly seen basically had some good fortune. The gem actually was able to enter Turtle Rock with sword beams, which means the Baris did not stand a chance against him because, well, they don't have to be there once you have sword beams to basically shoot them down. It was a very nice Waffle House as well on Gem's side, no damage taken. And on Corey's side, man. It's, I guess, okay, you know what? It's never too late for breakfast. Or early. Breakfast food can be served anytime. That is why Waffle Houses are always open 24/7.
Alright, Gem gets the fairy there. Can do the beam strat. Okay, so he's just going for the blocks anyway, but does it well.
Yeah. It looks like it was like the friendly RNG that you can maybe see on the more like classic, you go to the left side type of thing. But yes, we got a nice fairy refill as hoped. Oh my gosh. Because in this case, Corey and Gem both ended up still killing like the enemies regularly, but nothing dropped from them. So that means that we were able to potentially get our drops here in Turtle Rock, which is really where we want the refill to be.
Yeah, a decent chance that Gem also gets the full magic from this guy, and then we're super comfy. Okay, looks like it's oh yeah, there we go. It was it dropped slightly too low. Gem decided
it looks like he was
go for it.
Trying. It's okay. We every once in a while it's just seeing like the bunny farm is it's a nice refresher, right? It's like, oh yeah, to kind of remind you, how far you've come, right? We were in Dark World momentarily, in as bunny form, and we had to basically, keep our form, in the Dark World with a pearl, and it's a good humble reminder. Good roller room, so I think at least on Corey's side, Gem also had a very similar performance as well to be able to damage boost off the roller. Another reason why, in this case, especially if you know you have a fairy coming, you are more than okay. In this case, even 3 hearts is a lot. That's probably actually one of the nicer enemies, quote unquote, in terms of damage output. But if you know you have a fairy that's coming, that's going to refill you for 7 hearts, 3 is really nothing. Especially since, in this case, neither Corey nor Gem ended up taking any damage from the overworld, which is, quite a feat unto itself. Like, we've seen people take, I think, like 6 or 7 hearts worth of damage on the overworld before, and so it can, the RNG does not have to be kind to you, so... Okay, we're gonna see in this case, we're gonna get a double bunny on Corey's side with Pokey 2. Or, sorry, the Pokey Key. And it's okay. So no big magic on Corey's side, which is fine. You don't need it. It's just kind of nice to have. You're not basically, I think, as maybe starved for magic, just in case. Okay, if everything goes correctly, obviously, then you're fine. It's just that, obviously, when things, if they don't go correctly, then you kind of like want to be able to have a little bit maybe of like extra magic or something, as buffer.
But being at full health also helps with that. If you can keep full health until Crystal Roller Room, then you can just do the beam strat there as well, which saves a couple of Samaria uses. Ooh, okay, Gem slightly mispositioning, gonna have to go for a front door strat here, but she's be fine.
Okay, so I think I also, maybe I knew this before, but I also learned that the Trinex's feet also only do 1 heart of damage. We also got a demonstration that the head does 4 hearts of damage. Again, we should have blue mail here, so it's only supposed to do 3. But this is why, we come in here with 13 hearts, or at least, you said full health. We can actually, still able to take 1 or 2, maybe even 3 shots.
Right, slightly rough fight from Gem there, but gets through it. Like, as soon as ice ends up on the floor, I feel like the fight can go really badly wrong. So it's I think you take what Gem got there in that situation.
I will take any fight where I'm still living. The other thing, yeah. Yeah, the other thing I think I also noticed was like the ice head can actually also be well, ice and fire heads can be sometimes a bit finicky. Maybe it has more of a reputation with the fire head just because you try to hit it with the ice rod, and the ice rod is not always the most reliable rod, as we've kind of seen in many fights before. And especially if you go in with full health, the danger is going to be for you to run out of magic if you can't do like the regular, backdoor stress, right? If the ice rod misses or, the fire rod misses or something for whatever reason and you run out of magic, it is, I don't know how you're supposed to finish that fight. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, this is... Okay, we have a recovery. That is what matters. Wow. Wow, what a peg room.
Alright, so obviously that means Corey's going to be coming into the Triax fight without full magic, but I mean, again, that shouldn't be a problem if the strat just goes correctly.
Yeah,
in fact, he's
like
even going for the dash poke strats here.
Wow,
Looks like he's nailed it as well.
No, excellent fight on Corey's side.
So actually, only needs two rod shots to do that strat.
Yeah, and the fact that he, so like, I think the reason why people do the poke strat is you can save on the magic. This is why, like, I mean, I didn't even think about this until you kind of see, like, oh yeah, like when you have like health and magic, you need a refill. That actually does cost time as well, right? It's not a lot of time, but it is time, right? That's not trivial, and the fact that he doesn't have, in this case, as much magic and health to kind of refill is going to save him time here. Really great.
Nice spike skip from Gem.
Oh yeah, really cool to see. Okay, you see the true power of the boomer thing. I'm not calling Gem old, but we have a boomerang and it's pretty powerful. Sorry. Yeah, but coming down to GT, it's certainly a very fun dungeon. I think people, if you actually probably do a survey of the dungeons that people probably enjoy to do the most, I'm sure GT is just in people's like top probably 3 or 5, or it could even be top 1. Just because you get a lot of the like GT I guess is also like the biggest dungeon, and it's kind of split into 2 parts, right? The first one is the very like dungeon-y aspect. You're searching all the way through the basement, getting all of these keys, using a lot of the items that you've accumulated throughout your travels, right? Hookshot, hookshot and boomerang, just for like movement, and then we also have in this case like still like the bow and like the fire rod and like all these different things for technique, right? Which is really cool to see. And then upstairs in this case you have you've got well, what is very affectionately known as the gauntlet, just room after room of enemies that you are going to do your best to kill on temper sword and the bow and boots. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Gem now done with his basement, going to be starting the climb here.
Okay, we don't need that hook anyway, or the pot, pesky pot.
Oh, Corey got the
oh no,
the hook to the left. Yeah, I think we've all done that, trying to move to do spike skip and then find ourselves in the pit.
One thing I've also noticed as well, like, I mean, just like whenever you start to kind of improve your time, right? And so part of improving your time is also just to kind of like tighten up whatever now, right? Like certainly getting PBs and getting faster times is also all about consistency, right? You like to get a PB run together. A lot of things have to go well for you. So part of your practice can just be improving, and nearly nailing down what you do know, right? Or what you're kind of used to. And then there's going to be other times where I'm going to change this. I'm going to put in this new technique, and you kind of like gotta unbreak some of the muscle memory you've had before, but also some of the newer stuff is also harder probably to implement and execute. That's probably why you didn't do it before, right? Because you weren't either ready for it, or maybe it was just not the right time. And part of it being difficult is sometimes if you go moving too fast, the mistakes are more punishing. So in this case, yeah, like if you try to hook left, then if you mess up, then it's probably you probably end up costing yourself more time than it actually is.
Yeah, we saw the Mike Arrows strat there from Corey, so he could skip
Oh,
the
those are
chest.
actually really cool.
Could skip the chest
Yeah.
after Ice Armor's here. Gonna have 10 arrows, which is enough for the climb.
Yeah, and I think this is also personal observational bias. Like I've seen, the mimics, drop, like they're probably dropping arrows, more often than not. I mean, I know every drop is 50-50, but like, yeah, I think 10's gonna be enough. Like even if he doesn't get anything, he'll still have 2 arrows left, which is probably enough for the climb. But he'll probably get at least something here. I haven't seen his stream yet, so hopefully he doesn't, make a liar out of me.
But yeah, I mean, if you like, he even went for the arrow in the previous room there. He's obviously confident he's got enough here. If he doesn't get a drop, then so be it. He'll have to kind of he just goes for the 10 there.
See,
but otherwise, he had to have just picked his spot for the 1 arrow he had left. But now he gets to do it all.
Yeah. Now you don't need a lot of arrows for what it's worth. Like so, yeah. Actually, doing this one, this strat, it does actually save a little bit of time. Optimally, but it is actually really cool to see. You do need an arrow there, and then, but yeah, also he doesn't have to worry necessarily about the gauntlet. You don't need a lot of arrows for the gauntlet, but it is always be like pretty nice to see. Okay, so Jem kind of got a little beat up. Not in the gauntlet. Everything outside of the gauntlet, the bridge, some of the other parts where maybe the damage wasn't as intended, but sometimes you just get unlucky. Alright, so Corey also entering his gauntlet. The spikes have not been kind to him.
Okay, okay. I was quite surprised Jem hadn't fallen off already, but then Moldorm eventually got his man.
So Moldorm 2 maybe is Ganon's employee, like maybe Moldorm 1, is like the nicer cousin or something of Moldorm. A fall to Moldorm is surprisingly not as expensive in terms of time loss. Like here, I mean in GT, as I initially thought it was, but maybe it's because you don't have to climb as much. Like yeah, you do fall one floor, right, and then you have to climb up again. It's probably like
it's certainly nowhere near as bad as like getting middle holed by the first one for sure.
Yeah, that first one is like ultra punishing. I mean, yeah, so just like in this case, you also fail Hera bomb jump, right? The shortcut over. You also fall 2 floors, and that's also really uncomfortable. But like at least here, maybe it's just not as bad. Speaking of not as bad, I'm okay. Again, we're not in the danger zone. Okay, sorry, we might be in the danger. We might be in the you will get wet zone, like for health. So Jem is exiting Ganon's tower with 5.5 hearts. Corey might be in the you will get wet zone.
Hopefully this is quick enough here. Yeah, okay. I wasn't quite sure if that fall costs too much time to get the torch cycle, but it was fine.
The jingle glitch here is very real. Just so you know. So has it actually happened in a race before? I can't recall.
I've definitely seen it happen in a race.
You have? Oh no. I'm sorry. Whoever that happened to. Did you have? Yeah, but it's very very. That is a run ender, for sure. Yeah, so basically the jingle glitch happens is when you open the door, right on the same frame as like the little like jingle that you hear, it's like that the door is gonna close on you, and somehow that despawns all of the sprites in Ganon's tower. Now you might be thinking like, oh yeah, that's great. I don't have to kill Moldor, I don't have to kill Aga. Like, what's the problem? The problem is that you really can't get out, and then you can't get like the flute or like the bat, to spawn, and then you don't get the hole.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly at which point you get brick walled and can't carry on without the sprites, but you certainly need something.
Yeah, you need at least like one thing to because you get here and then there's nothing here, and then you don't know how to get out, and then you have to start over.
Yeah, that jingle glitch is super real. You can also jingle glitch in Ice Palace as well, potentially.
Right. Oh, right. I did forget about that too. I think it happens a little bit less frequently, but yeah, like like you're absolutely right in that it can't happen. That one might take you actually off guard. Okay, we did get torch glitch on Gem's side. That is probably the. I mean, at this point, I think he probably has enough buffer time-wise, even if he didn't get jingle glitch or torch glitch. But it's always good to see, good confidence booster.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like like Torch Glitch is like the last big hurdle of the run. Once you've hit that and you've got, you know, like more than a couple of hearts of health, then you should be fine to finish out the Ganon fight here.
Yeah, and I think at this point, especially, you know, whether you run NMG, whether you play a lot of rando, and just do like the silverless spins here, especially on Torch Glitch, it's just more of like going through the motion because you've probably practiced it and played it, you know, for so long. All right, well, but that's very well done run for Gem. Not quite, you know, like the I would say the PB, you know, as performance, you know, as last week, but you know, still very, very solid for everything that's actually happened. Very well done run. Big GGs to Gem. First place, week 2 over Corey. 126.36. Very, yeah, very, very solid time.
Yeah, really nice run. He'll be going into the Desert Palace Division Finals next week.
Yeah, and you said versus Tam, right?
Versus Tam.
That should be one heck of a race. Alright, Corey is ended up finishing up Ganon. He's gonna try and get one more. Gonna make it? It looked really tight. Are there just certain like Ganon positions, I guess, that you like just can't go for, I guess, because he's just so far away? Like, is it actually possible to get Torch Glitch in all situations? Do you know?
Yeah, it's always possible to get Torch Glitch. It depends on what you like go for. Like, if you obviously go for the you know, there's like an extra spin you can do on Ganon after the first one before the torch goes out, which is, like, if you go for that, there are some positions where you can't get to Torch Glitch, but you just need to kind of know when to not do it.
Oh, okay.
It's like Corey has perfectly managed his magic and was able to kill Ganon with an empty tank.
That was a very, very impressive, actually, like, Torch Glitch-less Ganon fight. Super smooth, honestly. Like, sometimes, like, the fights can actually look very awkward. You're, like, just moving back and forth, but Corey did. Yeah, very, very well done. Yeah,
like
big
both of
GG's
our
to
runners
Corey.
have joined us for an interview here. GG's.
Yo, yeah, GG's, guys.
Hey, thank you. GG's, Corey.
Hey, GG's, dude.
Matt said that you were practicing a Torch Glitch-less Ganon. I mean, if you were, it definitely paid off here. Like, it looked super smooth.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Oh, you did that on purpose? Oh, okay.
Bit.
I understand. Okay, yeah. Well, looks super tight. Yeah. I guess I'm sorry about Meyer. I don't really know. You must have got hit from like an eyeball or something. Is that what?
Yeah. It was that bottom one on the right. I kind of was afraid of that happening, like, as I was going up. But I never ever practiced like being safe there, so I was like, please don't do this. Please don't kill me. And then, yeah. That Dark World was kind of bad, if I'm being honest. Like, even outside of the video death, like, there was a major disaster in I think every single split. So, like, I was just trying to hold on the whole race, and I knew that at some point something was gonna give.
I think you were ahead pretty much the whole race until that vitreous death. Honestly, no, you're I think the only major one I remember before then was like the pre-Hellway in Thievestown with the spikes. That was a party.
Yeah, that was rough. No, I like the conveyor Gibo's room in Thievestown was really bad. Saved only by the freest of Hellways. Failed bomb jump in Skullwoods like a bunch of times. Ice Palace was Ice Palace.
Oh, right, Skull was, yeah.
Swamp was okay, I guess. But it wasn't like super great. I had to like get all of the extra bombs and things, so that made it really slow. Yeah, it was just a disaster of a Dark World all around.
Yeah, I don't know if you have.
I mean, like, that's what happens. Like when you have. I was ahead of PB going into Aga 1, I think, or I was like very close to it, and that's with Sankart. So like it was an extremely good Light World, and that was like real hard to cope with. That's why we do the races.
Yeah, I mean, I think this race was actually a lot of fun to watch. You guys were pretty. I mean, you guys were pretty even. Yeah, I think, but I guess like throughout the most of the run, even like things like the pre-Aga, blue ball difference. I think you were just kind of like slowly gaining time on Gem.
Yeah, in the Light World, like I said, it was an extremely good Light World, so I saw that.
That's right.
I saw that coming through. Like But then, yeah, just almost every Dark World split had something that was like, well, I'm losing like 10 seconds here, 5 seconds here, 10 seconds there.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you heard some of the commentary, but like so Rob and I were talking about like you can do OMG co-op, you just like splice, you know, like somebody else like only the good parts because I think like your light world is really good, and then Gem, and your light world wasn't bad, but like your light world was really scary. I don't know, like the
It was scary. Like it did scare me.
And I was like,
oh crap.
Oh my gosh.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah. What? How did your? Like, I feel like you just like got your composer after Dark World, and just you were always there. I was like, I'm not really like gaining time here. I just have to hold on for dear life.
Yeah, my Dark World was pretty good aside from Ice Palace. Ice Palace was terrible. TR I had a disaster on Trinex, but aside from that, Dark World was fine. Light World I derped really hard in Hera. I like sorta random brained. I got the basement cage, and then like as I was dashing up toward Hera basement, I was like, I don't need map chest. This is NMG. I just go up now. So I decided to go right and went up, and I was like, no, wait, I need a big key. That's just really stupid.
Yeah, that feels bad. I didn't know what to do after, like, I didn't know how to like handle Meyer 2 again for the second go through. I was like, I don't know, I just make it up as I go.
Mm-hmm.
Worked out. I was like so nervous. I was like more nervous the second time going through Spooky 2 than the first time. I was like, I don't have any bombs, so please just work. And then the second time I was like, please just work.
Yeah, good thing it worked. I was also on 0 bombs in Maya, but then the Slugula got in my way and I got a bomb drop from it. That was kind of nice.
I love when that happens. Yeah, I mean, like, there are parts that I'm pretty happy with. So like, it's not like it was all bad.
No, I think the runs themselves, I mean, especially like pre Vitreous or like pre Meyer, I think it was actually like very solid. I think it was just like, I don't know, like kind of like all bets were off, honestly. Like I thought after the vision, you still like recovered, I think, very well. Just probably just like more pockets of things that maybe.
Yeah, like the TR was pretty solid, I think, except for the second to last room. I don't know what happened. I get that thing where you're doing the diagonal movement, and then you try and like put the block down, and it's like, I'm gonna put it over here, even though you're facing down.
I hate that. Ugh.
So I tried to like do my backup, like on the spur of the. I was like, wait, there's a backup that I do here, and then the anti-fairy got in the way. I'm like, oh god, come on, just let me out.
And I think Jem, your gauntlet is actually really good. I think it was everything else like that's not the gauntlet upstairs that kind of like wrecked you. What happened on the bridge? Did you just get bridged or something? Because suddenly
I got bridged. I got knocked off by Modern 2 in like a really sad way. I got a cool landmode too, where I only needed 4 or 5 shots because the third one got hit by the splash as it came out or something.
Oh, nice.
That was kind of fun. Yeah. My Thieves was super good. I was really sad that I bonked there at the 3 Musketeers. Like, I don't know how much time I lost. Probably like 3 seconds or so. Maybe more even. So, and I was plus 1.2 over gold. So that could have been a really juicy gold.
Oh, alright, well, you know what? The good news is you still have next week. So you still can get the gold, at least, in League.
I'll try.
Well, yeah, and also you could obviously get the division title as well. Are you looking forward to that race against Tam?
Yeah, for sure. I enjoy racing Tam. We've faced off a couple times already in random. I don't think we ever did an NMG League. So it's gonna be fun to face them here.
Well, with that, I think we are gonna wrap it up here for now. But we will be back in about an hour, 20 minutes for Tower of Hera. We have Aerie versus Fox. Also going on today. I had so much time to look at this ahead of time, and I didn't. We have Majora's Mask Rando going on. They have their Easter tournament that's going on. That should be here. I think Aerie versus Fox is going to be on ZSR2 because in a little bit there is a OT Season 7 quarterfinals race that's going to be back here on main. So, go get a snack, stretch your legs. We'll be back in 80-ish minutes for more NMG over on ZSR2. And then a lot more other stuff going on, more MMR, SSR. There's lots of things going on Sunday too. So, but with that, just GG's to Jem and Corey for a great race. Thank you to Clear Mouse and Rob for handling all the commentary for us, and also a special shout out to my fellow restreamer Golden Devil, who did all of the setup work, so I could just sit here and post and chat and run predictions. So, but thank you everyone, and we will be back in a little bit.